Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Deving Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktira Bhavati Nishtiki. Hare Krishna, my name is Anupam Krishna. Today I am supposed to give the class on Bhagavad-Gita, Chapter 2, entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized, verse number 33. Atha chetvam imam dharmyam. Atha chetvam imam dharmyam. Sangramam na karishyasi. Sangramam na karishyasi. Tatah swadharmam kirtim cha. Tatah swadharmam kirtim cha. Hitva papam avapsyasi. Hitva papam avapsyasi. Atha, therefore, chet, if, tvam, you, imam, this, dharmyam, as a religious duty, sangramam, fighting, na, do not, karishyasi, perform, tataha, then, swadharmam, your religious duty, kirtim, reputation, cha, also, hitva, losing, papam, sinful reaction, avapsyasi, will gain. So before I start speaking, please turn off your mobiles. It will be disturbing in the class. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. Purport. Arjun was a famous fighter, and he attained fame by fighting many great demigods, including even Lord Shiva, after fighting and defeating Lord Shiva in the dress of a hunter. Arjun pleased the Lord and received as a reward a weapon called Pashupatastra. Pashupatastra, we then say, okay. Everyone knew that he was a great warrior. Even Dronacharya gave him the benedictions and awarded him the special weapon by which he could kill even his teacher. So he was credited with so many military certificates from many authorities, including his adoptive father Indra, the heavenly king. But if he abandoned the battle, not only would he neglect his specific duty as a Kshatriya, but he would lose all his fame and good name and thus prepare his royal road to hell. In other words, he would go to hell not by fighting, but by withdrawing from battle. Mukam karvati vachalam pangam langayate grimyat kripa tamaham mande shri gurundinatarinam. Atha chetvam imam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi tatah swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papam avapsyasi. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. So, before I start to speak, I beg blessings from all the seniors who were present here, that I may speak some inspiring words. So in this section of the Gita, Krishna is changing the level of explaining why Arjuna should fight. Up to now, up to verse 30, he's speaking about the eternality or eternity of the soul from the angle of Sankhya, analyzing what is the what is that? Achedyo yam adahyam avikaram ayam uchite, like this. He's explaining the nature of the soul. But now he turns in 31 towards another topic called Swadharma, which is a very interesting topic to understand. Thank you very much. So here, interesting thing to know, the history of Arjuna defeating Lord Shiva is written in the Mahabharata. At one time, when the Pandavas were in Agyatavas, in living in the forest, Vanavas. They were living in the forest because they had lost the dice game in Hastinapur. So one time Yudhishthir, he called Arjun, he held his hand and said, Arjun, you know, Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, Karna and Ashwathama, they all fully know the science of weapons called Dhanurveda. And, you know, they know all kinds of weapons. They know the Brahma weapons, the Daiva weapons, the Manava weapons, and the Vayavya weapons. Brahma weapons are related to the energy of Brahma. Daiva weapons are related to the energy of the Devatas, Manava, they also weapons which are created by the energy of Manu, the father of mankind. And also Vayavya weapons which are based on the principle of Vayu, the wind, like exploding and things like that. So they know these weapons by all their specific purposes, how to shoot them, how to withdraw them. And they're all very well dealt with, very well received by Duryodhan. And Duryodhan, because he's dealing with them very nicely, definitely they are his well-wishers, and I'm sure that if there is a war, they will fight for Duryodhan. So now the entire earth belongs to Duryodhan with all its towns and villages and rivers and mountains, and we have only you as our shelter, O Arjun. Therefore, on your shoulders rests a great burden. And what is that? I shall give you, first of all, a science which I got from Vyasdev, and on his order I give to you. It's called Pratismriti. By following this vidya, this mantra chanting, the whole universe will be revealed to you. You'll be able to see other planets, you will see the devatas, and you please, after getting this knowledge, go and perform tapasya, austerities, because you have to gain all these weapons also. You have to, if you have to fight Bhishma, Drona, Karna, who have all these weapons, then we also need these weapons. And you are our only hope. So therefore, dress up yourself in your warrior outfit, take your bow, and go to do tapasya. And that's what Arjun did. He first of all went to the Brahmanas, he performed oblations and a sacrifice, got their blessings. Then he went to Yudhishthir, and while he was going, Draupadi approached him and he said, my dear hero, my dear Arjun, you know how I was insulted? Don't forget that. And I bless you that you will be, or I hope that you will be fulfilling the task nicely. And Arjun, he got the blessings of the Brahmanas, Dhaumya. He circumambulated Yudhishthir, and he went north to the Himalayas for the tapasya to see Indra. Because Yudhishthir told him that all the devatas had left their divine weapons with Indra. And if you want these weapons, you have to please Indra. So now, Arjun already had very special weapons. In his hand was the Gandiva bow. This Gandiva bow was a celestial bow. It was not an ordinary bow from this world. Because Agni Dev at one time, he had indigestion, had some problem of health, and he has his eye on the Khandava forest. He wanted to digest that and get healthy because there were many herbs growing there. But that Khandava forest belonged to Indra, so he didn't dare to go there without protection. So he sought the protection of Krishna and Arjun agreed. And then Agni Dev, he burned up that forest and he got healthy. And in return for this service, for protection, he brought a chariot for Arjun, which he had, 4 horses, which were yoked to the chariot. He brought this divine bow, the Gandiva, along with 2 quivers, which were inexhaustible. As soon as they would be emptied, Agni-Deva would fill them again with arrows. So this already Arjun had. Plus, while the forest was being burned, there was a demon named Mayadanava who saw the shelter of Arjun, otherwise he would have died. So Arjun gave him shelter, and in return for that, Mayadanava, he built this Indraprastha, the palace of the Pandavas. You had Hastinapur and you had Indraprastha, which was built by Mayadanava. But Mayadanava not only built this palace for the Pandavas, he also brought this Devadatta Shankh for I think it was Arjun's Devadatta Shankh, yes. And he also brought the club of Bhimsen. So this much they already had. But still he needed more weapons. So we can understand how powerful these weapons must have been. So Arjun traveled north and he came to a place, all of a sudden, he was traveling very fast, where all of a sudden somebody told him, stop, don't go further. So he looked around, where is this voice coming from? And he saw a rishi sitting under a tree. And he was effulgent, Brahma Tejas, very effulgent. Then, he told Arjun, why have you come here? Because you have reached the region of Sattvagun, the region of Brahmanas. Here, there is no need for weapons. Here, there is no need for fighting. Here, we see enemies and friends as equal. So, you don't need any weapons. Throw them away. So, Arjun was very determined. He came for weapons. So, why should he throw away his arrows and his bow? So, he started arguing with the Brahmana. And when the Brahmana saw that he could not change Arjun's purpose, he revealed that he was Indra. Indra was sitting as a Brahmana trying to test Arjun. So when Arjun saw that Brahman was Indra, he begged him, please teach me the science of the weapons, of your divine weapons. Then Indra again asked him, tried to dissuade his path, that why don't you choose for dharma, artha, or become a devata, enjoy this world, why you need weapons? And he still stick with that. So he said, I don't want to go to Devalok. I don't want to enjoy this earth. I need weapons. Because if I would leave my own brothers who are waiting for me, and I would leave my enemies unchastised, then I would have an eternal blame upon me. And I don't want that. So therefore, I need divyastras. I need divine weapons. So then Indra told him, okay, if you want to have divine weapons which are with me, then you have to please the three-eyed, trinetri Lord Shiva. Unless you please him, I cannot give you these weapons. So therefore, Arjun remained at that place where he saw this Brahmana. The place is called Indrakila. And he sat there and he started doing austerities for Lord Shiva. 4 months Arjun's austerity lasted. In the first month, Arjun, he was only eating dry leaves, and every third day he was eating fruits. So this one kind of austerity. The second month, he was only eating fruits every 6 days. And during the third month, he ate only fruits every 2 weeks. And in the fourth month, he was only living on air. In this way, he performed severe austerities. And not only these kind of austerities, he was standing in what you call talasana. Talasana is a yoga posture in which you stand on your toes with hands up, just like Hiranyakashipu did. And because of that, he became very effulgent like fire. The ground around him started smoking because of this austerity of Arjun. And then the rishis who were sitting there, they felt uncomfortable. This austerity is too much. So they all went to Lord Shiva because they understood Arjun is doing austerity for some purpose. But he's praying to Lord Shiva. Probably they heard the mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. So they went to Lord Shiva in order to try to stop him from further austerities. Otherwise, they might have burned. They were afraid of being burned. So when these rishis went to Lord Shiva actually said that you don't need to worry about Falguni, about Arjun. I today will fulfill his desire. So he sent all the rishis, returned back without any worry. And he took up the form of a Kirata. And Parvati also took up the form of a Kiratini. Kiratas, as far as I know, is a race of mountaineer people who live in the mountains. And they have this elongated eyes, this kind of race it is. Kiratas, right? Maybe, are they here? They're not here, probably in Himalayas, that area. And all these Ganas of Shiva also took up forms Kiratas. And they went towards that place where Indra was, where Arjun was doing his austerities. So as Lord Shiva arrived there, he saw that one demon, Mukha Daitya, took up the form of a boar and was trying to kill Arjun. So Arjun saw that and he told this demon, I have done no harm to you and still you want to kill me. Therefore I'm going to kill you. While he was just pulling his arrow and trying to shoot this boar, a voice came, stop! I have already aimed at this boar. This boar is mine. The Kirata, Lord Shiva in the form of a Kirata, was aiming at that boar. So Arjun didn't care, so he let his arrow loose and 2 arrows hit that boar and that boar died. And as it died, it showed its original form as a Rakshasa, as a demon. So what happened here, Arjun now turned towards this Kirata. He does know that it is Lord Shiva. He said that you have taken my hunt. It is not according to the hunting etiquette. You have very well misbehaved. First of all, tell me who you are, that you have that you're living like this here, surrounded by women, and you're taking somebody else's hunting, somebody else's what's the word? You take the chase of somebody. So the Kirata, he smiled only towards Arjun. He said that, well, I can ask the same question to you. You look that you have been raised in a very well family, rich family. You're very fragile looking, very komal. What's the word komal in English? Very handsome, tender, very tender looking. Why have you come and doing tapasya here? What is your purpose? Then Arjun said that I live here in this forest by the protection of my boy Gandiv. And you have seen that I have killed this demon. So I have killed the demon. It is your fault. So in this way, a quarrel started between Lord Shiva and Arjun. He said that, okay, shoot your arrows. Let me see how powerful you are. The Kirata was challenging Arjun. And Arjun started fighting and he shot arrows with the thousands. But to his surprise, this Kirata remained unhurt. And he was encouraging. So, shoot. As Arjun was shooting, all of a sudden, his quivers emptied. So when this happened, he started wondering, who is this person? Is this Rudra? Is this some Deva? Is it maybe some Yaksha or maybe some demon? Except for Pinakadhari Shiva. Shiva who's carrying the Pinaka bow. Nobody can withstand these thousands of arrows which are shot by my Gandiv, by my bow. But as Arjun continued shooting, he lost actually when his quivers emptied, he lost his arrows. So then he thought what to do now. He took his bow and he wanted to beat the Kirata with the bow. So the Kirata, he pulled away that bow. Then Arjun took his sword. Now the sword of Arjun is so powerful, he could even cut stones with it. And he hit the Kirata on his head and it broke to pieces. So he thought, what is this? So then he took his fists and he started beating with the Kirata. Now the Kirata beat him also. And Arjun tried to squash him in his embrace to his chest. But the Kirata embraced Arjun. And Arjun almost got mangled like a piece of flesh. So he fainted and he fell to the ground and blood was flowing here and there. And then when he came to consciousness, he understood this cannot be an ordinary person. Nobody can defeat me like that except for Lord Shiva. So he built a clay form of Lord Shiva and he started doing pranamas in mind, dandavats, and he offered a garland. So when he offered the garland to that, he saw that Kirata had the same garland on his head. So he understood, oh, this is Lord Shiva. So he was very pleased and he paid obeisances to him and he understood that the lady next to him is Mother Parvati. So in this way, he became very pleased with Lord Shiva and he started offering prayers. He offered prayers to Lord Shiva and he begged for forgiveness that I have fought with you. And so then Shiva was very pleased with him. He said that I have already forgiven you, and he embraced him again. He said that he was very pleased with Shiva. He said, in your former life you were Nara and you were befriended with Narayana. Both of you are extremely powerful. And then he gave this Gandiva back to Arjun, and he promised the quivers will be again inexhaustible, will be filled up again. So then he said that, now ask a boon from me, what do you want? So Arjun asked, I want to have the Brahmashir. Brahmashir is a weapon, as far as I understand, by the energy of Brahma, which launches many different arrows, and also even arrows which look like snakes, which come out when you shoot one Brahmashir, it is like that. So though Arjun asked for that arrow, Shiva replied that he would give him his Pashupatastra. So now the Pashupatastra, what it looks like, there is a description there in the Ramayana. What happened here is that one time Narada saw that Ravana was on his world-conquering, universe-conquering yatra. Ravana had his Digvijay yatra. So he was trying to defeat everyone. Also on earth he came. And on earth, what can humans do against Ravana? So he was cutting humans left and right, kings left and right. So then Narada told him, my dear Ravana, please stop and listen to me. He said, why are you killing these people who are already, bound to be dead? It's Mrityulok. Here everyone will die anyway. And everything on earth is always pratikul, always in disturbance. And they are lamenting, they are foolish. Look what they are doing. They're not working for eternal liberation, but they are working for sense gratification and things like that. This is no match for you. I know a match for you. So Rasa said, who is that? So you go to Yamalok, challenge Yamaraj. If you can defeat him, then you can defeat everyone. And the words he actually used were, Tasmin jite jitam sarvam, bhavati eva na sanchaya. If you have conquered him, you will conquer everyone. So now Ravana agreed with this. So now then Narada, he was thinking, what will happen if Yamaraj gets defeated? And what new kind of laws will Ravana make after defeating Yamaraj? Where will the dead go? So this kind of Narada was thinking. So let me go to Yamalok and see myself what Ravana is doing. So Ravana went there and he saw all this, the Vaitarani river, the Narakas he saw, everything he saw. But he came to give battle to Yamaraj. So then the army of Yamaraj, the Yamadutas, attacked Ravana. And Ravana was fighting them, completely blood was flowing here and there and wounded and this and that. So finally he thought, okay, I can only conquer them with one weapon. And he took out the Pashupatastra. And he launched the Yamadutas. So when the Pashupatastra is launched, it looks like it is surrounded by fire and smoke. And that fire is so hot that just by passing through an area, the whole area gets flamed up, is burnt, like that. So as it was going through the army of the Yamadutas, they were all dropping on the ground, dead. But this Yamalok. So Ramayana doesn't give any solution what happened to the dead, so don't ask me that. If Yamadutas die, where do you go? The Ramayana doesn't give an answer to that question. So besides, it's called Pashupatastra. Behind that arrow, there will be many ferocious animals running. Therefore it's called Pashupatastra. So Arjun got this Pashupatastra, and he actually had to first get introduced to this. Yes, Lord Shiva told him, I will give you the Pashupatastra, but you should never shoot this arrow at an enemy who is of little power. If you do this, this weapon will destroy the entire universe. And there is no being who is chara achar, who can walk, who cannot walk, who can withstand this weapon. It can be shot by the mind, it can be shot by the eyes, it can be shot by words, and it can be shot by a bow. And neither Indra, Yama, Kuber, Varun or Vayu knows about this weapon. What to speak of humans. So Arjun purified himself, Smachman, and he came to Lord Shiva. He said, my dear Vishwanath, instruct me. And then Lord Shiva, he gave him all the knowledge of the Pashupatastra along with his rahasyas, the secrets of how to shooting it and how to withdraw it. So then that weapon also has a personal form. It has an arrow form, but it also has another form, a personal form. When Arjun memorized those mantras, that person appeared to Arjun and, besides him. When that happened, it says in the Mahabharata, the earth started shaking and there were hurricanes and cyclones because of the power of this weapon. So In this way, Arjun got this Pashupatastra by pleasing Lord Shiva, by even giving battle to Lord Shiva. And then Lord Shiva told him, now you go to Swarga, where you get all the weapons from Indra. Thereafter, Lord Shiva and Parvati and all the Ganas, they returned to the place from where they came from. Now Arjun considered himself very fortunate that he got this weapon, and he sat there in that place, and one by one different devatas came. Kuber came, Indra came, Yama, Varuna, and they all came, and he gave their weapons to Arjun, because that was the promise. Then Indra said to Arjun, you just wait for some time, Matali, my charioteer, will come, and he will bring you to Swarga, where you will get all my weapons. So in this way, Arjun got all these divine weapons, which is described here in the purport, the Pashupatastra. So now you know how he got this weapon. There's another thing here. He got the benediction from Dronacharya to get another weapon. As far as my knowledge goes, that was the Brahmastra which Arjun had. And Arjun had to use it like 6 times. Is it 6 times? Yeah, I think 6 times. Ashwathama, he shot 5 arrows to the Pandavas, and one he shot at Uttara, the wife of Abhimanyu, in order to kill the last descendant, the Parikshit. So to counter these weapons, Arjun had to shoot the Brahmastra back. Brahmastra can only be countered by another Brahmastra. So there is also mentioning here that he was credited, especially by Indra, who was his adopted father. Now what happened in Swarga, there was a group of demons coming in the line of Prahlad, who were living on the bottom of the ocean. And these demons are named Nivata Kavach demons. So for those who know Sanskrit, Nivata means without air, airtight suits or astronauts. So even during the Vedic times, you already had this technology by which you could stay underwater or fly in the sky. So they had the benediction to reside on the bottom of the ocean in cities which were more opulent than Indralok. And Arjun later inquired from Indra, how come they were living there? They're more opulent than your place. He said, actually that was my place, but they got the boon from Brahma to live there, free from fear of the devas. Therefore they are residing there. And therefore no deva can kill him. You have to kill them. And that's what Arjun did. He, as Guru Dakshina, getting all the weapons from Indra, he gave this as a Guru Dakshina is given after your studies are completed. So he gave it as a Dakshina. He killed these Nivata Kavacha demons. So this is the great glory of Arjun, which are mentioned. All these things are mentioned in the Mahabharata. And therefore, it was actually a great sin, after having so many arrows and so much glory, to not fight. So now, it says here in the purport, in other words, he would go to hell not by fighting, but by withdrawing from battle. For a Kshatriya not to fight, for a Kshatriya not to be a hero, is actually a papa. It sounds very strange, because as devotees we try to learn to be humble. But for a Kshatriya to be humble is a weakness. He's only humble in front of Guru, God, and Brahmins. That's a Kshatriya. How is that? It's mentioned in the Gita. Sauryam tedo dhrite daksham yuddha chapya palayanam danam ishvara bhavascha kshatram karma svabhavajam. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity and leadership, ishvara bhava, are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. So heroism is already there. If a Kshatriya is not heroic, he's actually not a Kshatriya. Such a great times that must have been. All the kings were all heroes. So many heroes there were. And therefore when they die, they get Viragati, the destiny for heroes. Right? And if you're not a hero, if you run away from battle or show your back in battle, you won't go there to Indralok, meant for heroes, Swarga. Indra. Now it also says Ishvara Bhava, and if you look at that, Ishvara is also described by Parashar Muni, Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashashashriya jnana vairagyasya sannibhaga itingana. This is a definition for Bhagavan, but you can also take it for Ishvara. That also says Aishwarya, and also says Viryasya. The definition of having the attitude of a controller, of a manager, or of a governor, is you have to have Ishvara Bhava. And Ishvara Bhava also means Viryasya. You have to be a hero. In other words, Kshatriyas therefore always were in front line. When they send the army, they will also go along with the army. Not that they will sit at their home, in their palace, nicely protected. And all these warriors, they are dying on the battlefield. And they feel like, oh, just go when the funeral is there. No, they were fighting themselves. So, it sounds a little bit strange, but it is the attitude of a kshatriya which makes him a hero. Without being a hero, he cannot be a kshatriya. So, it also mentions there in the same 18th chapter, Yataha pravritir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmanatam abhyarchya siddhim bindate manavaha. By worshipping the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. So this own work is what is mentioned here as swadharma. Swadharma gives swakarmana. Sreyan swadharma vigunaha paradharmat sonitishtat subhava niyatam karma kurvan napnoti kil bisham. It is better to engage in one's own occupation even though one may perform it imperfectly than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reaction. So, one's nature is something one is born into, subhavajam. Of course, we generally say Brahmana or Kshatriya is not by birth, which is not 100% correct in the sense that subhavajam actually refers to the family which gives birth to you, right? So it is not the family which decides whether you are a Brahman or a Kshatriya. No, but it is your birth, your subhava. So if you have the subhava of Shauriyam, Tejo, Dhritir, Daksham, which you are born with, according to the Gita, subhava jam, you are born with this quality. Then you are a Kshatriya. So you might be from some other family, but then you are a Kshatriya. If you are, what is that? The Brahman emanation, what is that? Shantir. Huh? No, that's this verse of the Gita. How the Brahmanas work. Anyway, I just don't remember now, because we're talking about Kshatriyas here. So therefore, it is the swabhava, the nature you're born with, decides what will be your swadharma. So dharma is always necessary. We know Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam raja. So now, in the modern days, humans are very expert at giving up dharma. But it also means, Sarva adharman parityaja ma ekam sharanam raja. Right? You also have to give up adharma. So in other words, dharma is necessary, always necessary. But it depends on you what level of dharma you are taking. Swadharma is always necessary. Dharmena hina pashubhi samanam. Without following any dharma, humans are equal to animals. What do animals do? Only bodily activities. Ahara nidra bhaya maithunam cha. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. If that is only what you're doing in life, you're not better than an animal. What will distinguish an animal from a human being? The distinction between an animal and a human being would be, that's what the Aryan way of living is that the Aryans, the cultured humans, they see this life on earth as a transit. If you ever have gone by aeroplane somewhere and you have not a direct flight, then you have a transit, a place where you land, stay for 1 or 2 hours, maybe a few hours more, and then you fly further. So that's called a transit. So the Aryans are people who are seeing this life on earth here as a temporary place to stay, to do something, and then go further. And therefore they are striving for a spiritual perfection. And then this thing of swadharma comes in. Now swadharma here, of course Krishna refers to the varnashram swadharma. But the practical thing or the reality is that there is practically no more varnashram, especially if you're from outside India. In India there are only remnants. It's even an offense to call somebody a Shudra. So you can see also India is not following actually the swadharma aspect which Krishna describes here. So that level of swadharma can then not be followed. But if you look in the past, when here in Bharatvarsha people were following the swadharma, how great humans were. There is the history 500 years ago in Rajasthan, the famous place in Rajasthan, Chittorgarh, which was the place of Maharana Pratap Singh. So this has to be mentioned in order to describe how heroes who followed the tradition were even heroic up to 500 years ago. then the Britishers came and everything was lost. There is this the story of Maharani Padmini, who was known to be extremely beautiful. She was like beautiful like an apsara, and she was the queen of Chittor. And there was this Muslim king, Bahadur Shah from Gujarat, who heard from singers, bards, about the beauty of Rani Padmini. Though these bards had never seen her, because queens would not come out in public, so you couldn't see her. But they were describing, and as people describe, sometimes they exaggerate, whatever it is. But he heard about the beauty of Maharani Padmini, and he thought, let me go and get her. So he went to Chittorgarh. No, this is Bahadur Shah. Alauddin Khilji was another competitor. It was not Alauddin. I know this. This is specifically Bahadur Shah from Gujarat. And he thought, I will go and conquer this Raval Shah at the time. What was his name? The Raval's name was, I think it was Ratan Singh. I'm not sure exactly what his name was. I'm sure that this have been, put in series and in films like that, because it's very famous, this story. So for Indians, it's very famous. For those who are outside India, it's nice to know how the Kshatriyas who were following tradition were at the time. So he attacked Chittorgarh, but he could not win. He could not win the Kshatriya warriors from that time. So he decided, if I cannot win by war, I will do some treachery, cheat the king. So he sent a messenger to Raval Shah, and he said, this messenger was saying that the Sultan is very unhappy that so many soldiers are being killed for nothing. He's willing to make friendship with you. He just has one request. If he can just have one little glimpse of Rani Padmini, he will be satisfied and go. So for a Kshatriya to hear this, he was, how you dare? He said that, this cannot, he said, no, please listen. This is the, the Chamchagiri, the messenger saying that just one glimpse, she will not appear in front. So the way he was speaking, he said that even in India, isn't it that the goddesses gave darshan to the devotees? So see it like this. He was saying it like this. And then Raval Shah, he agreed with that. So then the condition was, there would be put 9 mirrors through which Rani Padmini's reflections would go, and then the Bahadur Shah would see that reflection. Yeah, it's Bahadur Shah. I'm pretty sure it's Bahadur Shah. Alauddin Khilji, any Mughal, Sultan, fine. The Sultan. Sultan is Mughal king, right? So when he saw Padmini, he became even more lusty. So he went to Raval Shah, and he was very nicely hosted by him. And then, they had some nice interaction, friendship, like this. And then he said, okay, I shall now give you farewell, Bida Karana. So the etiquette is, if it's a friend, you go up to the door, at least up to the gate, and then you say farewell. So as he went to the main pole, the last pole, the gate, then Raval Shah said, okay, now bid you farewell. I said, I didn't come to bid you farewell. I came to make you farewell from this place. And he told his soldiers to can I say kidnap? To put him in prison. So he was taken into the tent camp of the Mughals. So when this news came to Padmini's ears, she was very angry. So he said that this Raval has cheated the king. Then we should also cheat. Because our rishis have said, and she was quoting Chanakya, that with the cheater you should cheat. So we will also do that. So she called for the 2 most heroic soldiers of her army. Gora and Badal were the names of these 2. And she said, tell the Sultan that Rani Padmini is ready to come on her own conditions to his camp. And Gora Badal was not understanding what is going on, but why this is not. He said, listen, tell the Sultan that Rani Padmini will come with, now you have to help me, 700 of her Ranivas, of her dasis. 700, right? Or 600? I guess, 700. Many of them. And she said, inside will not be women of the Ranivas, there will be great warriors. Also those who are carrying the palanquin will not be ordinary carriers, they will be warriors. Then you go all inside and free the Rana, free the king, and bring him back. And that's what happened. So they went there and he fought a fierce battle, and in between Gora or battle, he brought back Ravalsa. But then what happened? Behind him, some of the Mughal warriors also entered Chittor. And there was no more chance to actually win. There was too much harm done. Then what the Kshatriyas used to do is called Johar and Saka. So the Kshatriyas, especially the ladies, were not less fiery than their men. Of course, they could not fight with men, because men at the time were really men. They really had so much power that they could defeat bulls. That was men at the time. They would fight with swords, not with when any coward can do. They would fight with actual weapons, man to man. So then what the Ranis used to do, they would go and worship Lord Shiva. They would dress up in their bridal dress and worship Lord Shiva, make the last parikrama, and make a huge funeral pyre and jump into that alive. This is called Johar. Because you will read more tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow, you'll see. What is that? For one who has enjoyed fame, infamy is worse than death. What is that? It will come up. This thing you will hear. So this is the inspiration behind that. So now what happens to the men, the Kshatriyas, is that they have no more inspiration of family life. So they would dress up in saffron dresses. And Saka in Marwari language means doing something unique nobody else can do. Heroism. They would open all the gates of the fort because there is nothing left anymore. All the women have died. And they would go into battle and never to return. So then they would make a sankalpa, I will kill 50 before I die. Some other would vow, I will kill 100 before I die. This was the spirit of the Kshatriya warriors. And therefore they were received then in Virgati. They would do like that. And actually they were able to. You don't make a vow if you're not able to. And therefore you see this, that the Kshatriyas, even you're half dead, just one more, then the 50 is completed. They would stand up on their legs, blooding everywhere, shivering, and still they would kill the last one. And so this is the spirit. This is what dharma will do. If you're a Kshatriya warrior, you're a real warrior. If you're a Brahmana, you're full of effulgence. You can have mantra power, evoke fire, right? So now what this all has to do with us, because we're not actually establishing Varnashram, we're trying to follow some remnants. We have another level of dharma to follow. What is that? Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Shei Mora Shampada. And it goes on, just to summarize because time is almost finishing. Shei Mor Dharama Karam. The Acharyas have said, to serve the lotus feet of Rupa Manjari, that's our dharma and karma. See? But nobody is freed from dharma. Everyone has to do his dharma. So if you become a devotee, initiated in the Gaudiya line, then to serve Rupa Goswami's lotus feet should be your swadharma. And that is on the level of the Atman. Whereas here, what is going on now is Krishna is stepping down from the level of the soul, Dehinosmini Yatha Dehe, and is going towards Swadharma of Varnashram, because that was very much prominent at that time. Varnashram is necessary if you have something to search for in this world, because the Varna, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, takes care of the body and your mind. The ashram part takes care of your mind and your soul. And in this way, that is the perfect culture. According to the Vajrasuchika Upanishad, a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya Shudra is not the body and is not the soul. It is the mind which is the Brahmana. It is the mind which is the Kshatriya. According to Vajrasuchika Upanishad. There the conditioning lies. The Swabhava is in the mind, but mind is material. See? So that has to be purified. And there we find the difficulties, because in the West, the culture is of disharmony. It's like spirituality and materialism are completely separate. Whereas in the ancient Vedic tradition, it's together. Body and soul function in harmony. Spiritually means soul here. But in the Western culture, it is separated, segregated. So you get a culture which is opposing spirituality. And then you find so many difficulties if you follow Western lifestyle and tendencies which are obstructing your spiritual progress. That's basically the problem here. So therefore, Varnashram as a culture is necessary in order to make spiritual progress in there. And Varnashram even goes up to Golok. Of course, the Varnashram there is not for any conditioned nature, because there is no conditioned nature there. But it is the ground, the structure for experiencing rasa. Otherwise, why can the gopis say, Pati sutanvayat bhratri bandhavan ati vilanghyate achyutagata? That is a great austerity they did, or not austerity, what's balidan? Sacrifice they did. Because at those times, if you follow varnashram, to leave the house without the permission of the husband, you cannot come back anymore. So the gopis are following that. But oh Achyuta, we did it for you. Like that. So in that sense, my point here is that varnashram can be followed on different levels. Here is one level which Krishna is describing, and it's the level of swadharma, which is necessary. So time is almost finishing. So now, in your practical spiritual life, how do you know what is your swadharma? What is your varna? If you're especially from a family in the West, everything is mixed, you have no concept of that. How do you discover what is your swadharma, what service you have to do for Krishna? In this, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a very nice song, Krishna Nama Dhare Katobal. Krishna's name, if you chant that, one of the first things it will do is reveal what is your swadharma. When you reach anartha nivriti, you get the bodily concept is lessened. What is anarthas? Anarthas are ghana tarala vyudavikalpa tarangarangini and vishaya sangraha, which Vishwanath Chakravarti mentions in Madhurya Kadambini. The fighting with the sense objects. You want to be renounced, but you become attracted. Vishaya sangraha, tarangarangini. The side effects of bhakti you try to enjoy. Anyway, all these anarthas are there because you're still bound in the mind and in the bodily concept. So that's basically the animalistic part. When you become free from that, it becomes revealed by the name what seva Krishna wants from you, and that is your swadharma. So your jati is actually revealed by the holy name. That's the first thing it does. What is it? Vishayo vaso nanale moro chitta sada jwale rovitapta maro bhumi samo. That my heart is burning with material desires, and the holy name is showering drops of nectar and quenching the fire, the burning fire in my heart. So that's the first thing to do, get rid of these anarthas, then it will be... And then you stick to that swadharma, and generally the guru will tell you also that, because he will see it, what is your duty towards Krishna, and then actually bhakti starts. Because human life starts from varnashram. If there is no varnashram, there is no human life actually. Dharmena hina pashubi samanam. So these are a few things I wanted to say. There's much more to say here actually. There are some other pastimes also about some detailed things about the Nivata Kavacha demons. Very interesting, but I'll leave that for somebody else. I'll end here. Any questions? Yes, Prabhu.
Very nice stories there. So, speaking about Arjuna's dharma, he fought with Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva in the form of
Kirata.
So, these pastimes are what Arjuna was performing by order of Vidusha Maharaj. So he got all the strength and everything, and he could fight in a proper way. Also, when the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he said, I don't want to fight to Krishna. So being a strong man and seeing his grandfather and teacher, he doesn't want to fight. But Krishna is explaining him all these things, and then he's saying, at the end, you forget all the dharmas. What that does mean, that forget all the dharmas. Whatever Krishna taught him, he asking him to forget that one and just fight, or what is that? Can you explain something?
Okay, the thing here is that verse Sarva Dharman Parityaja, it appears in the 18th chapter. And in the same 18th chapter, you have this Swadharma, what I described, of the Kshatriya. Shauryam Tejo Dhrite Daksham Yudhe Chapya Palayanam. So what is referred here is actually Varnashram Dharma. So dharma, Sarva Dharman Parityaja doesn't mean that you don't follow any dharma anymore and come to the level of animal. No, you follow the higher essence of dharma. Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamikam Sharanam Raja. You rise above the level of bodily dharma. Like I said, Varna and Ashram you have. Varna takes care of your Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, how you maintain yourself. Along with that, the mind is involved because that's the jati actually. And ashram is for the spiritual, the evolvement of the soul. Like that. So now Krishna is actually saying to Arjuna, rise above these dualistic dharmas, give these up. Traiguniya Vishaya Veda, Nishtraiguniya Bhavarjuni, before even he said that. So Sarva Dharman Parityaja here means take up bhakti, the higher level of, the highest level of dharma.
That means whatever Krishna taught him, whatever from the first chapter to up to 17th chapter, whatever he told him, so he's asking him to whatever he told you, stop that one and just fight.
No, Krishna's not saying that give up Gita or give up whatever explain. He doesn't say that. He also says, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. Now you follow the dharma of surrendering unto me. And there are also sections in the Gita where Krishna explains how to surrender unto him. It's like when he's telling about Sankhya, which means Dehinosmin yatha dehe, nayanang chindanti shastrani. That he should not give up. That's the level of dharma which he's talking about. But the Varnashram part, doing things for like in the Karmakanda purpose or something like that, if you can give up, if you become a sannyasi, Sarva Dharman Parityaja is a sannyas verse actually, that's what he's aiming at. Like that. And like I said, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, the Triguna-atmic level of dharma in the Veda, which is Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and these Upasana Kanda, that has to be given up because Mamekam Sharanam Raja. The dharma of Sharanam Raja is described by Patanjali as Ishwar Pranidhan, comes after Samadhi. Samadhi is a state in which you have realized the soul, the Atman, who you are. Then Ishwar Pranidhan, now you surrender to Ishwara. So Patanjali has said, Prabhupada has quoted that. That's what Krishna is aiming at. Sarva Dharma doesn't mean you have no more dharma. Now you have the higher level, the highest level of dharma, which is surrender unto Krishna. Like that. That's what it means. So those sections which describe that has to be taken from the Gita. Like that. And those sections who do not, like who Krishna gave as an example, Shauryam, Tejo, Dhriti, Daksham, etc., etc. Now you don't do it because of Varnashram, now you do it for me. So that's the highest level of dharma. Yeah? Therefore I was mentioning this song, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada for us. So when you read, at least that's what I do, when I read the Gita or other books, I always try to find what is the message, what can I do by this, what can I do in my life with it. So we are devotees with chanting Hare Krishna, we are not Kshatriyas or Brahmanas or in the sense of Varnashramic. But what seva are we doing for Krishna? And how to apply these instructions. Does it answer your question?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
I am sure that is Dr. Khilji of 15th century, Sultan of Delhi, not Bahadur Shah.
Not Bahadur Shah?
Not Bahadur Shah.
Okay, fine.
Dr. Khilji.
Some Mughal it was.
Yes.
Because they tell the story in Chittor, we go there, Radhi Padmini, and actually I never paid so much attention who it was, you know. Some Mughal. So you can find on your net nowadays, you know, who it was. Huh? He was a Mughal. I'm saying a Mughal Raja. Any of them, all of them are lusty anyway. Akbar was lusty, Alauddin Khilji was lusty, Bahadur Shah was lusty. At that point, some lusty Mughal king came. But the point here was, I wanted to describe how the Kshatriya tradition was even so powerful that they were able to do Jauhar in Saka. So great of following dharma. Because one who is enjoyed, it says here, one who is enjoyed honor, this honor is worse than death. So they were, I'm saying, one who has enjoyed, what is it? It's right here. Happily. That it's right here. One of the few verses it says. People will speak. Yeah. This next verse. Tomorrow you'll hear. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. You see. That's why. How much they were following Gita. You see the Kshatriyas in their dharma. Anything else? Okay. Karantaraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.